Hi guys, welcome back or welcome for the first time. Thank you so much for joining Priya Veda Reacts. So today we are going to be reacting to a song that was requested by John. So thank you so much, John, for requesting this song. I also just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been commenting, liking and discussing in the comments on a lot of the Band-Maid videos. I really appreciate that. And for all the requests that people have sent via the link, it definitely supports me in creating content for you guys and to continue to create reaction videos, so I'm really grateful for that. You guys are amazing. So let's go for this. I'm very excited to hear this. So, ooh, wow. Wow. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Wow. Ooh. Wow. Wow. This is mad. Ooh. Wow. That was crazy, like it was just an instrumental. Thank you, John, so much for requesting that, because I reacted to a couple Band-Maid songs now, and I've only ever listened to songs that they have written and like the ones with the lyrics in there. So this was just an instrumental, and I think that was really different to hear, especially I think, yeah, you just get to appreciate their talent a lot more when you can just hear the instruments that they play. And like it was just fantastic. I loved the beginning of it. I loved how it was so gripping at the beginning. It was very like, yeah, it really drew you in. It was very gripping is the word that I can use. Very slow and very, yeah, very a big presence, even though there wasn't a lot of sound or a lot of instruments playing at that time, or at least the volume was quite low, and it was just like very gripping and very like grounding, almost grounded you into the space at the beginning. So that was really cool. And then you really heard from this, I could definitely hear, because obviously a lot of commenters, a lot of you guys have been saying in the comments that, you know, they have a classical music background, and their background is knowing instruments just at the back of their hand. So, but you could really feel their classical background in this song, just from like the chord progressions and stuff. I mean, those who kind of are familiar with the band and like the rock side of certain chord progressions and stuff, tell me if that was a typical chord progression for rock that I'm just unaware of. But to my ears, it sounded quite classical, just like the way they were going. She was going down the guitar with like the chords, and like the way that she was pressing it was like that progression of the tunes and the keys that she was going in. It was giving very classical to me. Yeah, and that was just incredible. You could definitely feel that. But then they kept kind of coming back to that unique style of theirs, and then, you know, even though it was obviously there was no lyrics or nothing, it still had such a variety and such a uniqueness within the whole song. I mean, it was 3 minutes, almost, well, 4 minutes pretty much, and there was such a variety. You know, it wasn't the same, and I think that's obviously a lot harder to achieve in such a short amount of time as 4 minutes, but you really felt that that variety and that, yeah, the versatility. And they kept kind of coming back to that same melody at the end to kind of tie it up, that, you know, there is a voice in here even though it's just our instruments. And I think melodies do that in a great way, because obviously you have the band and you have the main sort of base of the song, all the different instruments, which is like the monotonous kind of beat to hold everything else. But the fact that it was just an instrumental and you still felt that voice in there with the melody that kept coming back, I think that came in sort of 3 times throughout the song, which was really nice. It kind of brought you back in and again acted as the voice that wasn't there, obviously because it was just an instrumental. So I really liked that, and it was so unique. There was elements of funk in there, and then even at like throughout the whole song, it wasn't giving very, very rock, like it was giving a lot more classical, but using instruments that are typical of rock and not necessarily using like a violin or other instruments that are typical of that genre. But then they brought it back to the rock theme at the end with that electrical guitar kind of sounding more present and stuff. So that was really cool. I think it was definitely a great one to listen to hear that classical background influence. So I'd love for you guys to let me know what you thought about this, and if you agree with me in terms of hearing that classical side of them, and if you have any other suggestions for songs that instrumentals or songs with lyrics that do showcase that real classical background like this one did, feel free to request it in the link down below. But yeah, this was great, man. This was really good. I loved the video as well. I loved how the quality of the video was crazy, and it was nice. I think this video you saw them a lot more. The other videos, it was kind of more sort of dull, but I think the fact that they've just used an instrumental and there's not necessarily the voices or the lyrics, you could see their faces more. It was kind of more clear and more bright, and it was like, yeah, it was kind of nice to see that and to hear that classical side of it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, what you guys thought. How did you feel about this performance, and any other things about them or this song that you know. I love learning about Band-Maid for you guys, because you guys know so much more than me, so it's nice to be able to go on that journey with you guys. And yeah, thank you so much for your comments, for your support. Yeah, I'm really grateful. Yeah, I'm very grateful for your support. So any more suggestions, feel free to recommend in the link below. If it is the first time you're joining Priya Veda Reacts and you like the way that I analyse music, you like my vibe, feel free to like and subscribe. I post daily different genres of music, obviously a lot of Band-Maid. I reacted to One Love Bites video song as well, and I plan to do more. and a lot of Latin music, a lot of Prince, sort of 80s, 70s music, from great musical vocalists, musical legends. Yeah, just a variety of songs really from different cultures, different languages as well. I love to embrace songs from all around the world that are good, which may not always be heard in the mainstream of a particular country. I'm from England, but the mainstream obviously is British music. So I like to embrace a lot of Indian Punjabi music, Latin, that may not be in the mainstream of where I am from. So yeah, and I think music has the power to unite. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys hanging out and spending the time. But yeah, till next time. Bye.